Please welcome writer-director Amy Wang. So you guys know how this works by now. You ask the questions, Amy will answer them. As always, you can tweet your questions, hashtag SBFF. Yes, we have a question right here. Right, so the question is about the father having the son, I guess, stick his head in the trash bag, and was that like a negative reinforcement, or what was the technique there?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of research before I started writing the film, and a big thing that I found was a lot of kids or teenagers between like 18 and 21 would tell their parents about their feelings of pedophilia, and then because there isn't a lot of research and a lot of kind of proven techniques to help fix the problem, a lot of what the parents would do such things as kind of negative association, so get them to sniff trash while looking at pictures, or getting them to wear rubber bands on their hands and to flick themselves when they would look at things that they weren't supposed to.
Does it ever work?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's not a lot of research behind it, so I don't think it's the best way to fix a problem.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so where did the idea for this film come from? And are you a psych major?
I'm not, but I like psychology. But I read an article a couple of years ago written by this 19-year-old kid, and he basically spoke about, he was from the Midwest, he suffered from thoughts of pedophilia, had never touched a kid, but had tried to seek therapy and was turned away. He did not tell his family or his friends, and he was suicidal, he hated who he was, and for me that was so fascinating because I always thought about pedophiles as, you know, men in their late 50s or older who were in jail and, you know, were bad people. And this was the first time I kind of thought about this topic in a different way. So that really fascinated me.
Yes. More questions? Yes, sir. Right, so the question is why make a movie on such a dark subject matter?
I think I've always been fascinated by people who are kind of seen as outcasts, and I've always wanted to kind of see them as something, not just as a bad person, because I think in society, I think it's so easy to be like, oh, you're a good person and you're a bad person, but I think everybody has so many different shades of good and bad, and when I read that story many years ago, that was kind of what was really interesting. And I think for me, what connected myself to the story was kind of hating who you were. And me, I'm originally from Australia, but I'm also of Asian descent, and kind of growing up in a white society, I often felt like I wanted to, you know, change who I was and wanted to change something that I couldn't change. So that was my personal connection to the story.
Yes, sir. The question is, how did he learn to swim so quickly?
So there's supposed to be quite a big time jump between when he has that final fight with the girl to the final scene. So there's supposed to be a couple weeks, between that.
Yes, sir. Right, so is this part of a larger picture, possibly?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, so I'm developing a TV show right now that's set in the final years of high school, and it's centered around 5 different characters. So he's going to be one of the characters out of the 5. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, right there. You're asking about the medication after the meal, and was that related to him getting sick when he's vomiting?
They don't have anything to do with the sickness. They're actually hormone suppressants, and that's actually something that people who suffer from pedophilia also use to just basically stop any sexual appetite at all. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, ma'am. Yeah, the question is about how did you cast this actor who was very good?
Yeah, so the initially I had actually cast somebody else, and he came in to basically rehearse with me, and I realized that he was not the right person, so I had to let him go, which was the hardest day of my life. And then Blaine, who's my actor in this one, came in just for an audition, and I don't think he had done anything very big before this film, and yeah, he was fantastic.
And there's a question over here somewhere. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. How was there anything with the 2 sisters? Yeah. Were they difficult to cast?
It wasn't too bad. Yeah, I had a casting director as well, so she had a few people who she knew in LA who gave me a couple of people and yeah, auditioned them.
So what has the reception been like for you for this film? Have people said that this was actually helpful for them to see this? How have audiences responded to this?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing has been just people just don't understand this topic very much. And I think media in general, film, TV, what you see on the news, it's just like you see the percentage of people who have committed a crime who have been put to jail, and I think there's a much wider scope of this idea of pedophilia and you know the people who haven't committed a crime, who are younger, who I think right now they see their trajectory as eventually becoming somebody who will commit a crime. And I think there should be a lot more, just a lot more awareness and a lot more things done to kind of just understand the topic and to know that it's not just that percentage of people who we all know about.
Thank you very much. Amy Wang.